So this is a bit unusual. I don't usually do a rant to camera about things, but I just wanted to talk about something that we come across all the time and that the general public probably wouldn't realise about Amazon. So, as the general public sees it, Amazon's great because you can go online, find the things you want. There's an extensive number of products. You buy it and it turns out quickly, and that's the great thing about Amazon. But there's a lot that goes behind the scenes, particularly to do with the sellers on there. So sometimes Amazon will sell it to you directly, so they buy the products in and it comes from their warehouses and it's Amazon themselves that sell them to you. However, a lot of the time it's resellers. So either we, the resellers, dispatch direct to the customer, or if it's arriving by an Amazon courier, then usually, so if you're doing something with Prime, something like that, what's actually happened is the seller has sent the goods to the warehouses, Amazon warehouses, and they dispatch. So Amazon are doing the logistics, they're doing all the courier stuff, and they're really, really good at that, to be fair. But Amazon has got a lot of problems, and some of them have already been in the press. I won't talk about those, but there's one that doesn't crop up that often, and that is I've certainly never heard anything in the press about it, and that's where Amazon is ripping you off by sending you goods that you haven't even chosen. So basically, you've got a product listing. Let's just say, for argument's sake, everybody knows what a toaster is. It's a toaster. You're going to buy a toaster. So you know what you want. You found something on Amazon. Maybe you've looked at the reviews. Reviews seem good, and you have to take the reviews with a pinch of salt because they're often faked or can be wrong. And I'll talk more in detail about that in a moment. But then you buy the product and, and it turns up, and you use it, and that's it. But sometimes you will buy the product and you might say, oh, the box is a little bit different, or that looks a little bit different to how it was in the pictures, whatever. That could be because you're getting it from a different reseller and you're not actually buying the product that was originally listed. So you may not be getting the original product, the genuine thing. Could be a copy of it. And the other interesting thing is it may not even be legal. It may not even be legal. So, and I've witnessed this firsthand with some of our products. So, we've got a web shop. We've been doing online retail for 20 odd years. Some products we sell via Amazon. What we've discovered is with one or two of the products is that we did really well. We did all good photos. We've got a product that's already established. We put it on Amazon. Put all the effort in, got the description, got it working so that people are actually able to buy it and getting good sales from it. People like the product, so they're reviewing it. So we're getting genuine reviews. We're growing it organically. So we're not like doing these naughty things where we're paying someone to put reviews on there. So this is one thing that does happen with Amazon, that there has been a lot of fake reviews where you can pay a few £100 and these review farms will then start reviewing things. So you always got to be a little bit careful with reviews on Amazon, that they can be faked or not particularly genuine. Even if it says on there that on the review saying this person actually purchased, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because quite often you can pay for people to actually buy the product and then review it, even to get that level of reviewiness. So so we, going back to this product, we built up a great reputation, we've got good sales, everything's going fine, and then suddenly we find that Amazon is sometimes selling someone else's product alongside ours. So if you go onto our page on Amazon and you click buy, it's basically pot luck whether you get ours or a copy. Now, someone said, well, okay, well maybe it's like, you're just selling the same thing. No, because we're manufacturing this, so it can't be the same thing. It's going to be different, at least some way. So found out about this, and I actually managed to get hold. I had to buy some myself to actually find out what they're like, and they were different. They came in different packaging. There was a slightly different variation in size. There was a handle knurled bit that was different. So it was clearly a very different product. The other worrying thing is that in terms of legality, so on some products, if it's a toy product, you have to CE mark it if you're selling it in the EU. We've done that, but when we looked at the copied product, it hadn't, because it didn't have any of the marks on it, so it was illegal for sale in the EU, and yet Amazon was allowing it. They allow it to someone to come in and sell in amongst your items. Now, Amazon do have mechanisms where they have. This has been so rife in the past that they do have mechanisms in place where they try and stop this. So they were trying to stop things getting mixed up in the warehouses. So they were asking for most products to have a different barcodes to come from different sellers, but they were still allowing it to happen. It's just they wanted to weed them out. If they wanted the ability to weed them out, they didn't necessarily do that on all cases. And what we find is Amazon goes for, certainly as a seller, our experience with Amazon is very different. They will essentially, as long as they're making a profit, as long as they're selling, Amazon will continue to do it. So in this example of the product where someone had copied our product and is selling alongside, using our reviews, using our photos, description, etc., just piggybacking off, just hijacking the product. When we contacted and complained to Amazon, sometimes you have to email them, you have to wait 7 days to get a response, it's all this sort of nonsense. After many weeks, effectively their end response was, it's not our problem, it's between you and the other seller. Of which I said, okay, can I have the details of the other seller? And they said, no, Data Protection Act. Or effectively that. So that's the way they get around it, is they just say, well, that's between you and the other seller. And by the way, you're not allowed the details of the other seller. So you can't even, it's very difficult to find out who the other seller is in some instances, because even, particularly if it's going through the warehouses, you may not get a full invoice from the other seller. So the consumer gets screwed over in many ways. They really do get ripped off by Amazon when this type of event happens. So you can effectively have a product that is not what you want. It's different as described, which certainly in the UK can break consumer laws. People don't necessarily pick up on that, particularly if it's like a cheaper product. They're sort of, it's a bit different to the description. Oh well, a bit different to the photos. They probably changed it, and just don't think too much about it. But also, it gets quite serious when it gets to electronics and electrical goods, because can be a lot of stuff which it's so easy for companies in China to slap on a CE mark, to slap on British standard marks on there on the plugs, etc. And yet they haven't actually gone through the test. Some of them are blatantly, they can't be legal because of the shape that they are or whatever. And Amazon doesn't really police this. And it's just phenomenal that this is happening in such a scale that it is. And to be fair, Amazon, they did introduce these one of the things is called brand registry, which if the product has got trademarks or patents associated with it, you can register them and you have some degree of control over the product page. Some degree. it doesn't stop someone from doing a copy of it and putting it on Amazon anyway. It just stops them hijacking your page. But that's not foolproof. So yeah, it's just one of these things that I feel that it's not written about, and not really mentioned. There's various things that come up, sort of the fake reviews and stuff with Amazon, but this particular thing where you get product hijacking, where what you're clicking on to buy is not necessarily what you're going to get, by any means at all. That one is not sort of a mainstream thing that's cropping up on the media. And of course, it does cost the consumer at the end, because as a retailer, you have to take all this into consideration. There's a lot of hidden costs with selling on Amazon. So there's another crazy thing that happens with Amazon. So for whatever reason, people that buy on Amazon, they tend to return items a slightly higher percentage than they would do through a normal website. It's just easier to return things, I think. I think also people think that they're buying from this huge company, someone that's billionaire that owns it, multi-billionaire that owns it. If they return it, it's not going to affect anyone. Well, firstly, it could be a very small company you're actually buying from, but the return mechanism, all the costs get shoved to the seller, and so that's quite annoying. And the returns you can return it for any reason, but sometimes if you click on the wrong thing, say it's broken or whatever, that can have devastating consequences to the seller, because Amazon can shut down your account if you have too many returns. And if the goods are still in the warehouse, you have to get all the goods back. It will cost the retailer a lot of money. But there's other things, like we've experienced things where, so some customer they've bought our products, they want to return it, it's fine. It comes back to us, we check it. If it's been untouched and still brand new, then it could go back to Amazon. But we see this really weird thing where Amazon don't check what people are returning. So we've had goods where allegedly the customer has returned our product back. So the refund's been done automatically by Amazon, so the customer's got their money back. But they actually haven't returned our product. They've returned something completely different. Completely different. And we get it back, and we're like, what the hell is this? It doesn't even look anything like our product. And we don't have a leg to stand on. We've got a product we now have nothing to do with us. The money, the customers got their money, and we don't know who's at fault. Is it the customer accidentally sent the wrong one back? Have they kept ours and tried to do a refund on the wrong one on Amazon? Maybe they bought two, tried them out, whatever. Has that happened, or is it something internally that's happened within Amazon's warehouses, which is highly likely? Behind the scenes, Amazon is rubbish. If you're buying from me, you click on it, it's really easy, it arrives. If you're selling, you add a product, you got to wait days for it to update itself. It says, we'll update in 15 minutes. Yeah, right, never does. So you're constantly doing the updates and it takes ages. Then when you send the goods, when you buy from Amazon, it's really quick, right, in a day, usually, most of the time. But when you send it, it takes weeks for them to pull it into stock. We send stuff to American warehouses. It gets over there usually next day, maybe 2 days. And then Amazon got a deal with the courier that the courier has to hold it until a certain day until they're ready to accept it. So they accept it in sort of all the goods in batches rather than have daily receipts of, daily deliveries, they will say, "Oh, we'll have like FedEx on one day and this courier on another day and that courier on another day," whatever. So they bundle up. So there's a few days delay there. Then they get queued up in the warehouse. Then they look at it, they check it all out, presumably count it, scan them in, whatever they do. And at that point, it's only the start, because in America they have well over 100 warehouses now. I think it might be 200. So from the initial warehouse it goes to, they then get dispatched to all those warehouses, so that the idea being that the products are more local to you. So when you order it, it's going to come from a shorter distance and will be quicker. Amazon even try and same day delivery in some instances. So that's the way they get the goods quicker. They're already there, closer to you. And that takes ages. So you have all these things going on, and then if you do anything ever so slightly wrong, there's no allowance with Amazon. It's just like, that's it, you're going to charge you a load of money and send the goods back. And there's horror stories. I've known friends that have sent a pallet load of goods, and Amazon have received them. The courier's got a signature, whatever, but in this instance, the particular warehouse, they were really busy before Christmas. They had apparently shipping containers that they were putting stuff in the car park as like an overflow, and then bringing it in to then sort it. And apparently this pallet of goods went missing. So it was then a dispute between Amazon and the seller who was liable for it, or the courier. So yeah, Amazon's a big horrible dinosaur when you're trying to sell through them. As a consumer, it's easy to do, easy to buy. It's a nice, quick service, but there's a lot of hidden nonsense. So you have to be careful. This is something that is never trust reviews, and always check the goods or what you received and what you actually wanted to. If you're a little bit suspicious about it, usually contact the retailer. And the other thing is Amazon customer service. They won't know. They don't know anything at all about the products. So you're always better off, always say, talk to the manufacturer of the product if you want to know whether it's genuine and whether it's right, rather than Amazon, because they will just go, "Oh, maybe not, I'll send you a new one," and then it ends up costing the manufacturer or the retailer even more. But yeah, that's my rant about Amazon, and as a retailer, how pain in the ass they are, and how they can really rip you off as a consumer. But unfortunately, they're just one of those big companies that you have to deal with, that some people only buy, they're the go-to place that they buy from. So we, as a retailer, I'm forced to use them more and more. So over the coming year or so, we'll be adding more products on Amazon, which in itself is quite fun, because you sometimes have to change the packaging just for Amazon, because Amazon warehouse is not the safest places for products. They have to be in really good packaging, and surprising how different it is, how they pack. Very limited in terms of protective packaging with Amazon. So you have to make sure that it's all ready to go, that it's going to be safe going through Amazon systems, through the warehouse and the delivery methods. But yeah, that's my rant for today about Amazon.